Holy cow. Our lot is for sale. Are we getting thrown off of our lot here? Are we getting thrown out of our house? 9,879 square meter lot here for sale. A lot of people ask, who owns the lot we're on? Who owns the property that our house is on? I'm going to talk about that right now. I'm going to talk about that and share a little information with you. Luisa's grandmother and grandfather came to this island here 40 plus years ago, all right? When they came to the island wasn't developed. You didn't have siargao, well, you had siargao Island, but you didn't have like General Luna. You didn't have all the touristy things. You didn't have any of that going on at all, period. It was just an island with people living on it, Filipino people living on it, right? The road I'm on right now, it was a path, just a path that led back through here that led up to a few other little barangays up there that were fishing villages. Nothing back in here, right? A path, sort of like this path I'm going to show you right here. Path, right there. Goes down through there. It was all just a path. When they came here, the owners of this property, of all this property through here, said to Luisa's, my wife's grandfather and grandmother, would you be the caretaker of this property? They said, sure, we'll be the caretaker. After 10 years of being a caretaker, how it works is you then become the owner of a portion of the land that you're a caretaker on. There were coconut trees all through here, coconut trees. It's all mangrove forest back in there. Mangrove forest back in there. There's some property back in there that is flat back and through there. So they have a written, legalized, signed piece of paper, notarized and everything, of the portion of the land that they gave Luisa's grandmother and grandfather, my wife's grandmother and grandfather. Will hold up in court any day of the week. So what happened is when the original owners of this land died, of course the children took it over. The children know about the legal document, they honor it, they say, hey, we understand, you've been the caretaker of this forever, and the portion of this property is yours legally through a signed document, through attorneys, through lawyers. So Luisa's family owns a portion of this land here. All up and through here. That was all for sale, I think, all over and through here. There was a surveyor out here a couple, I don't know, maybe 10 months ago. Surveyed it and everything. And but that's how it worked. You got to understand something. Back then, it was like the old days, you know what I mean? Like if you have something to barter, say you have coconut to barter, you have vegetables to barter, if you have fish to barter, that's how they did it. There was no value on anything like there is now. Like they're saying, you know, there's value on the slot. They went like 7,000 pesos per square meter here. All right. There was no value. So if I'm a farmer and I got a bunch of root crops and I go down the road or down the path, and there's somebody down there that has like rice that they harvest from their fields, we bartered, we traded item for item. That's how it worked. I'm getting all these stories from Lut. Lut's getting these stories from her mom and everything like that. But that's how these things worked. So the family owns the property that our house sits on and a small portion of it. They do use the land. across the street behind me for their vegetables and everything. When they originally moved here, my wife's grandmother and grandfather, they had their house over here. All right. Here's the path right here. I remember it. I remember coming to their house, and they were just little shacks back in there. Right. It sat back in here. There's still remnants from it back in here, but it sat back in here. All right. Odette happened, and when Odette happened, it wiped out their house. All right. So when they went to build where our house is sitting right now, right here across the street, all right, they owned that land. So they didn't want to build back in there anymore because it's wet, it's swampy, and everything like that. All right. At one point, everything across the road here was an embankment like this. It looked just like this. All right, with an embankment that went down and out. What happened was they built this road through here, all right, all the way down through here. They took the road and the ground and the dirt, when they widened the road up there and everything, they dumped it over onto the property that the house sits on. So it was solid ground over there, it was solid land. That's why they built it over there instead of back here. It was weird too. Lit was telling me a story. And you got to understand something too. A lot of this at mangrove, all up through here, that's all protected land through the government. Protected mangrove forests. The government, not the local authorities, not the local government, they have nothing to do with it. The Philippine government made that all protected land through here. Wherever the mangrove forest is, it's all protected land. So nobody can build on protected government land. You know what I mean? However, this is not protected land. That's all privately owned. All up through there, all up through there. What happened was, after Odette, local government decided, hey, we're coming in here and we're going to take this over. There's a spot on my camera here. Hang on a second. Put that on. Local government decided, hey, we're going to come in here. We're going to force people off this land. We're going to take this land. All right. Well, that didn't happen. They actually got, you know what they actually did? They turned around and they brought trash up here. Trash, garbage, trash. Threw it all down alongside the road, everything like that. They were trying to stink the people out, right? Evidently, what happened was somebody came by here and posted it on Facebook. I mean, this was after Odette, and showed all the garbage and everything. The government themselves, congressmen, politicians on a government level, seen it, came down here and said, hey, what's going on here? This is an environmental hazard. We've got protected mangrove water through here. What are you doing? And they were forced to remove it. Local government, even local government sometimes will try to come in and say, hey, I'm taking this land. Didn't work in that case. I remember they were telling me, Lut's brother was telling us that, man, it stank. There were flies all over the place. But yeah, I mean, you see that, you hear about, you know, land disputes and stuff. Well, that's how these land disputes happen. All right. Now, the original owners of this land have passed away. Its grandmother and grandfather have passed away. It automatically goes to the next of kin. All right. It is weird out here when you get out here in these jungle islands, how land works here and how things work here. Once again, Siargao Island, everybody thinks they're sitting on Yamashita's gold when it comes to selling of land, the price of land, renting land. It's crazy. It's crazy expensive, but that's how it works. I guess you could say kind of like in the founding of the United States. United States government, hey, go out west, we'll give you land. Well, here, somebody owned this land. Well, at one point, it was just government land, all right? You came in, you took it over, you applied for a title and everything like that. The government would give you that land, the titled land. That's kind of how it originally started with this property here, and a lot of other property on these remote islands years ago. You go in, all right, I'm going to take over this area here, apply for a title. Doesn't cost you a penny. You don't buy the land. The government says, okay, it's yours. Now we're going back. We're going back years and years and years. So that's how that worked. But we had gotten home from our little trip up north, right? And pulled in, I seen lot for sale. I knew about the lot and everything like that for a while, but we knew the people that were looking to get this or to sell the land were up here doing surveys. The land that the family owns is a little bit over here, all right, across here, where the house sits, and kind of where the rooster pens end, chicken pens end, and like back that way. Because back in that way is, once again, that's all mangrove back in there. That can't be sold. It's all government. And then, of course, where Lut's uncle's little houses and stuff. But over through here, if you go back in there, we farm that. Lut's family farms that back in there. That's for sale also. But until the sale actually happens, I won't believe it, because it's oh God, I'll put the number down there, down below, the total amount that they want for this whole lot here. It's crazy. Once again, people think they are sitting on a gold mine. So that is the story about the lot, the land, and everything like that. And I know people say, well, hey, at any point in time, they could say, hey, Philly, get off our land, get off our property. All right, you're going to pay me for my house. In order for the family itself to sell the land, everybody in the family has to agree. Everybody has to agree. Lut's mom, Lut's uncles, Lut's aunts, everybody has to agree. Say if they decide to just up and moving out of here, all right? Then that contract they have, that legal agreement contract they have about the land and who owns it, that was drawn up between Lut's grandmother, grandfather, and the original owners of this land here. If they just up and decide to move, then they can ask the family, hey, do you want to sell it? And then boom, they could sell it. But as of right now, Lut's family legally owns the lot we're sitting on, right through here, and a little bit across the road. It was agreed upon years ago, and like I said, years ago, if you're a caretaker for over 10 years, a portion of a property is yours. They don't tend to do it nowadays because they know the value possibly down the road. But back then there was no price on land. It's just land. What drove up the land price here now, of course, is the tourism. So anyways, there it is, guys. We are not getting kicked off of our lot. We are not getting kicked out of our house. But people did ask, hey, who owns it, and this, that, and the other thing, and how does it become this, and how does it become that? Well, that's how it rolls. All right? That's how it rolls, and we ain't going nowhere. We are not going anywhere, and leave your comments below. Leave your comments below. If you're going to give me a legal comment, please back it up with some type of proof. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, there it is, guys, and we'll talk to you later.